What's up, Black family? This is Super Mike, and I'm coming to you. Okay. What's going on, guys? This is Super Mike coming to you. I'm gonna try to do something real quick, and let me try to cut this one off here. All right, we want to deal with a little heavy topic. It's what's going on today. Try to bring a little understanding to this topic because I know it's not easy to get the basic concept. I want to bring a couple of basic concepts to us so that we can kind of understand why this stuff is important. And what's up? What's up? What's going on? Hey, how you doing? Hey, that's me. All right, so what I'm doing today is we want to give a topic. We want to go into Semitic. And I'm just going to read a couple definitions here. Now, we're looking at this map. Hey, thanks, man. Thanks, Carolyn. Hey, Carolyn, what's going on? All right, so we're looking at this map, and we see the green is Semitic. These come from a series of languages, right? Called Afro-Asiatic languages. Semitic is in green. Actually, Omatic is they think is the oldest one. And then it goes to the Chadic and Cushic, Burdic, Semite. Semite is when you start getting into African mixed with Asian, Afro-Asiatic, okay? So that's on the language level. So let's read, wait, hold on a second here. I'm not as good as BNT on all this stuff, so you're gonna have to bear with me. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna do screen share. So we got a situation where people are dealing with Semitic, but then there's a different thing called anti-Semitic. Now, I'm going to read the U.S. government definition of anti-Semitic. The U.S. government actually has a definition of anti-Semitic. Sorry. All right, what we're going to do there? We'll get it right. It's on here. Anti-Semitism. Let's try it. Oh, look at this. We have a special envoy to monitor and combat anti-Semitism in the United States here. Well, they have a definition here. And this is the state.gov special envoy. Okay, let's read this part. The special envoy to monitor and combat anti-Semitism advances U.S. foreign policy on anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism, it's discrimination against or hatred toward Jews. The special envoy develops and implements policies and projects to support efforts to combat anti-Semitism. So this is backed up by the United States government. You know, is it for Jewish citizens? Or I guess since Israel is an ally, right? So, but that's just interesting. I mean, I don't see any other group getting this, but okay. Let's look through here. So let's look and see if we can get specifics on what is anti-Semitism. The special envoy was established by the Global Anti-Semitism Review Act, and the global, it's global. This is the United States of America, but we're going to fight anti-Semitism globally, right? Okay. So this was an act, a review act in 2004. Bureau Democracy, Human Rights, and Labor produces the State Department's annual reports on human rights practices and international religious freedom, and the special envoy provides input on anti-Semitism for these reports. The special envoy to monitor and combat anti-Semitism welcomes information on anti-Semitic incidents. See, so you can report anti-Semitic incidents, including personal and property attacks, government policies, including judicial, prosecutorial decisions. So they can report judges, prosecutors to the government, decisions, educational programs on the issue, and press and mass media reports. The office can be contacted. This is a State Department. Let's define anti-Semitism. Okay, let's look at this here. So hopefully I'm getting this seen. Okay, so this is getting seen. Yeah, used as a description by global scale anti-Semitism. Okay, cool. Everybody can see it. I just want to make sure I'm not messing up on the thing. I'm just saying, this is, to me, I think this is so interesting because we're dealing with a situation here. You know, me personally, you know, American taxpayer dollars, right? I mean, you know, there's a lot of, America is a hodgepodge of different cultures, ethnicities, right? I believe that we should be fighting all types of unfair treatment, because I believe in the principle of fairness. As far as racially, I believe that every group, I think it would go better if every group is respected and their unique culture is respected. You know, I do believe in, you know, as the United States of America, we should clean up our racial history. You need to take like 20 to 30 years, go ahead and get it cleaned up. You know, get it all out, get it all cleaned up, go through what we have to go through, the arguments, whatever, get it cleaned up. And after that, then every group should, you know, I don't believe in tearing down people's statues. I don't, because everybody has a history. And when you start tearing down people's statues, then you start getting, but I do believe that all that needs to be, I believe if all that stuff was cleaned up over a good, you know, the slavery, the genocide, you know, all of that kind of stuff, that was cleaned up as far as, you know, figured out, honestly brought to the surface, then we could stabilize this country and we wouldn't be having these repetitive cycles of, you know, internal battle, right? So here we go. Let's deal with, but this particular group is, but backed up by, United States government. So all of our taxpayer dollars are going here to fight this, which, I just didn't see anybody else's specific issue getting fought. Let's make sure here. Let's see. Oh, is there a special, bilateral conflicts? So it's still anti-Semitism. We see anti-American. Okay, let me just see. Let's look at this here. Yeah, let's see a special envoy. Let's make sure. Okay. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, I think it's just them. So we're going to read this here. Let's define this here. So it has a working definition along with examples of anti-Semitism since 2010. Okay, let's read that. Defining anti-Semitism. U.S. Department of State. This is archived content. Go to the current state government. Okay, so this is official here. So let's look at this here. Special envoy to monitor and combat anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism is a certain perception of Jews, which may be expressed as hatred towards Jews, rhetorical talking, and physical manifestation. So if I talk to them or say anything, okay, that's anti-Semitic. That is hatred. Okay. And of course, if you do physical, manifestations, yes, that would be considered anti-Semitic. Anti-Semitism are directed towards Jewish or non-Jewish individuals. This is interesting. So I don't understand how anti-Semitism is directed towards Jewish or non-Jewish individuals, okay? Or their property, towards Jewish community institutions, okay? And that's fair. Religious facilities. Working definition of anti-Semitism by the European Monitor Center on Racism and Xenophobia, okay? So here's some examples. If you call for aiding or justifying the killing or harming of Jews, often in the name of a radical ideology or extremist view of religion. So, of course, that makes sense, but that would go for anyone. Making mendacious, dehumanizing, demonizing, or stereotypical allegations about Jews, such, or the power of Jews as a collective. So you can't say that they have power as a collective. And that's anti-Semitic if you say Jews have power as a collective. That's anti-Semitic. Especially, but not exclusively, the myth about a world Jewish conspiracy or Jews controlling the media. There are Jews that have immense control over the media, but if you say that, according to the U.S. government here, we're being anti-Semitic, even though members of that community own a lot of very large media platforms, Disney, Fox, a lot of stuff. So we can keep going. Very powerful, because we also see they have their own definition here. Okay. Accusing Jews as a people of being, okay, so basically Jewish conspiracy, controlling the media, economy, government, or other social institutions. So you can't say that they control the media. You can't say that they have control in the economy. Can't say that they have control in government, APAC, or other social institutions. If you say it, it's anti-Semitic. You can't say it. Okay? You're not allowed to say that. Accusing Jews as a people of being responsible for real. Okay, wait a minute. Accusing Jews as a people of being responsible for real. So it could be real or imagined wrongdoings committed by a single Jewish person or group. So when you say anything, you must specify that this is a group of individuals within this community, or maybe this particular individual. And I think that should be true for anyone. You know, I just think that the state of Israel, or even for acts committed by non-Jews. Okay, let's read that again and make sure we understand it. Accusing Jews as a people of being responsible for real or imagined wrongdoings committed by a single Jewish person or group, the state of Israel, or even for acts committed by non-Jews. Okay, so I guess if you accuse Jews for acts committed by non-Jews, yes, that would be anti-Semitic. That makes sense. You know, accusing the Jews as a people or Israel as a state. So so Israel as a state of inventing or exaggerating the Holocaust. You can't accuse them of exaggerating the Holocaust. And even if, I guess they do, some of them do it, you can't accuse it. Accusing Jewish citizens of being more loyal to Israel or to the alleged priorities of Jews worldwide than to the interests of their own nations. What is anti-Semitism relative to Israel? Examples of the ways in which anti-Semitism manifests itself with regard to the state of Israel, taking into account the overall context, could include demonize Israel, using the symbols and images associated with classic anti-Semitism to characterize Israel or Israelis, drawing comparisons of contemporary Israeli policy to that of the Nazis. So you can't draw comparisons of contemporary Israeli policy. This is the state to that of the Nazis. So you're not allowed to say that if you see a situation, let's say with the Palestinians in Gaza or in the West Bank, you are not allowed to compare that with situation that this same individuals of this group went through under Nazi Germany. You're not allowed to make that comparison. That is anti-Semitic according to the power of the U.S. government here, State Department. You're not allowed to blame Israel for all interreligious or political tensions. Okay, that's fair. Can't blame Israel for that. Double standard for Israel. Applying double standards by requiring of it a behavior not expected or demanded of any other democratic nation. Okay, that, to me, makes sense on the surface. Multilateral organizations focusing on Israel only for peace or human rights investigations. So that, to me, that's kind of tailored towards the situation where we're trying to get peace process between the state of Israel and the situation with the Palestinians. And according to this definition here, the multilateral organizations cannot focus on Israel only for peace or human rights investigations. They cannot do that. Otherwise, that's anti-Semitic. And of course, you can't delegitimize Israel, denying the Jewish people their right to self-determination and denying Israel the right to exist. Of course not. But then they have here in small print, however, criticism of Israel similar to that leveled against any other country cannot be regarded as anti-Semitic. So this is what people mean by anti-Semitism, okay? So this, according to what we just seen here. Now let's look at the dictionary definition. Now this anti-Semitism has nothing to do with the historical term and etymology of Semites. It has nothing to do with the Bible. It has nothing to do with, according to the State Department and how it's used, contemporary anti-Semitism. It's nothing to do with all this stuff. So let's look at the dictionary definition of Semite. Let's look at that. What is all this crap? Dude, what is all this junk? Let's see if I can get it better. All right. All right, so we got Semitic. This is Merriam-Webster. I don't think they are anti-Semitic, so I think this is going to be a decent definition. It says Semitic is an adjective. Semitic, definition of Semitic, of or relating to or constituting a subfamily of the Afro-Asiatic language family that includes Hebrew, Aramaic, Arabic, and Amharic, of, relating to, or characteristic of the Semites, Jewish. So these are three different definitions that they're giving us here. All right, and so this has nothing to do with anti-Semitic. So when they say anti-Semitic, they're not saying that you're anti-Afro-Asiatic language. They're not saying that you're Afro or anti-Arabic, anti-Amharic, Aramaic language. And they're not even literally saying that you're I guess they're saying you're anti-Jewish, but it's defined by the State Department definition here. So let's just get that out the way. So let's go to, I think, this other source I want to get. Let's look at this. I'm messed up here. I got all kind of stuff going on here. Okay. I want to read this here. This is coming from a scholar, Wesley Muhammad, and he has a book called Afrabia. And we're going to go into some of this here. I don't want to read a bunch of it, but it just goes into okay. So now he's talking about the actual historic origins of what is called the Semitic peoples. And keep in mind that map. Hold on a second here. I don't know if I can. Hold on a second. All right, let's look at y'all in the chat. What's up, y'all? Hey, Amos Black. All right. All right. I'm just trying to get this real quick just to get this out of the way since there's controversies. All right, so I'm trying to get to a good spot here. Sorry, guys. As late as the 19th century, Black Arabs were still noted. Yada, yada, yada. Yada, yada, yada. Oh, wait. All right, so it's these black Arabs 3,000 years before Mendenhall. Okay, let's see, Bronze Age. All right, so there's this term that Wesley Muhammad has called Afrabians, because the way he defines this, let me see something here. So to Wesley, that thing called the Middle East, this part, this is actually part of the African African continent. This thing that we call the Arabian Peninsula. And he justifies saying that this is part of Africa because it's on the same tectonic plate. And he shows the tectonic plates, and they go into the flora. He goes all into the the animals, and then history of it, and saying that basically, according to nature, this, even though our maps say that this thing is different, this thing called the Middle East, which has Israel, Syria, Jordan, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, all this stuff here, even though we in our contemporary maps say that this is a different thing, he's saying that according to nature, there's right there on Iran, there's a tectonic plate that literally separates that in the earth. But it's actually, even this Red Sea, all of this is on the African plate. So he's saying this is called Afrabia, this whole thing, the people, all that. And these people have been mixing for, thousands and thousands and thousands of years, okay? So that's why he says Afrabia. So let's go back to this part. I'll get better at mixing my screens up. So let's look at this. He says, it's these black Arabs, descendants of the original Cushite Afrabians, who are the original speakers of the Arabic language. University of Michigan professor George Mendenhall, one of the world's leading authorities on the Near East and Near Eastern languages, notes that Arabic could not be a gift of Prophet Muhammad, as many Islamic clerics claim, since its origins are in the early Bronze Age, over 3,000 years before Muhammad. So, the Arabic language is not Muslim language. It's not Islamic language. It's just an Arabic language. It's been there, way before, the Islamic religion from Prophet Muhammad. And so just so people know that. Observing that the earliest segments of biblical Hebrew, now this is Hebrew, and as a rule, exhibit the highest percentage of Arabic cognates, mean is the same words for the same thing. So they're basically the same language, and they split off. Hebrew and Arabic are part of the same language, right? But these groups of people split off and they start speaking differently a little bit. All right. So Mendenhall affirms that the further back we go, the closer Hebrew is to Arabic, thus strengthening this other doctor's opinion that all the Semitic languages, of all the Semitic languages, Arabic approaches nearest to the original mother tongue. All right. So let's go through that. So the inhabitants, these groups show an affinity to both the Hamites of East Africa, the Somalians, which is Abyssinians, the South Indian Dravidians. So keep in mind, this Semite really is actually similar to Semite, and it literally comes from the Latin, which comes from the Semitic language. It means half. So these are groups of people that's like, you get black and white. It's almost like I guess what they use, like we use mulatto today. We use these different words to talk about people who are, mixed between different groups. So this is Semite, okay? And so And, I'm not going to read all that, but bottom line is, this is what Nick Cannon was talking about when he was talking about, this, this the original Jews or Hebrews, right? So now this guy here is educating Nick Cannon on, and this is Rabbi Abraham Cooper. He's going to educate, Nick Cannon on what real Jewish is, I guess, right? Now, and this is why I'm reading this stuff, because, this is what a lot of us think that religion is a waste of time, and it is a waste of time. But just look at Nick Cannon right now. If you don't know what you're dealing with in this religious game, these people hold a significant amount of power. This is a lot of history here. A lot of history. It's a lot of, this is ancient stuff. And power don't come just like we're taught it comes sometimes. It comes from people retaining their history and learning from the lessons of their forefathers, and then they can exert their will. This is why this particular group has the ability to put their definition, on and get their particular definition, approved and supported and enforced by our tax dollars, right? If they have the power to do it, why not? We're paying for it, right? If we're happy with it, I guess we don't care. It doesn't matter, right? To me, I believe everybody's rights should be, enforced. But here we go. We got that, and that's cool, I guess, for them. So I just wanted to kind of put that out there, and let's look at this here. Let me cam up real quick. I got to figure out this crap. I got to get a better way to do this. I got to get a better way to do this here, because this ain't really. What's up, everybody? All right, Super Mike, this me. I'm going to read this book, and then I'm going to be done. I just want to read this. This is a little history. Now, these things might be controversial to some people, but this is like a lot of research stuff. Y'all would get bored researching the footnotes on this stuff, but because we have so much, we live and we grew up in a culture of anti-Black racism in the United States. And because of that, basic stuff, everybody's human, but because we have grown up for hundreds of years in a culture of anti-Black racism, when people say Black, it makes some folks, it triggers some people. But we need to go through this kind of history, because you had a whole group of people who were taught that they weren't nothing. They were the scum of the earth. They had no history. They had no writing, and they had nothing. These people, us, a lot of us were taught that, and our parents were taught that, and so we require stuff like this. So it tells us, and so this is the reason why Nick Cannon, people like Nick Cannon and me and other folks, we're interested in this kind of history, because this kind of stuff was basically, we were taught that we didn't have anything. And it's pretty fun to find out that you did have something that was just hidden. So we have, let me look at this here. Remarkably, scientific advances developed 3/4 of a century after Eisler wrote, they have confirmed the correctness of his story. Actually, you know what? I think I'm earlier. All right, I'm not going to read the whole thing because the point is what they researched here. They did a genetic study. The genetic study is called the Cohen model haplotype, CMH. It was discovered in 1997 by a Jewish scientist. This paternal genetic marker, it is found on the Y chromosome, has a high frequency among the Jewish, Ashkenazi, and Sephardic priesthood, and is thought to be a signature of ancient Hebrew ancestry. The haplotype CMH is indeed part of a haplogroup, and this is all genetic stuff. This is religion. It gets all the way down to science. It gets all the way down to all of this stuff. This is scholarship, and the average person doesn't understand why we need religion. We need to throw religion away. These folks are not throwing religion away because some groups, they understand how to use spiritual power and spiritual systems to harness human potential. You know, one person can think of one thing, but can you bring an idea through fruition over 1,000 years? Can you make a plan and make it happen over 1,000 years? What force is it going to take to keep a group of people focused on an agenda for literally 1,000 years? Why would they care? That's where you get religion from. That's religion. So the thing is, we think we're so smart nowadays. We think we're going to get rid of a religion. It's not happening because the average person, especially in United States American society, we were taught, a religion has no power because the kind of religion that we got is just a bunch of singing and dancing. But these folks use it for something. So that's pretty much all I'm going to do for this one. I'm just putting this out here. This is what Nick Cannon was talking about when he was talking about, who are the Jewish, the real Jews, when he's talking about real Jews. Now, there's several Jews. There are black Jews, and this is what he's talking about. There's an ancestry, and this particular gene was found in 1997. And let's see something. Indeed, part of the haplogroup HGJ, that originated in Black Arabia or Afrabia 1,000 years ago, and in high frequencies, is believed to indicate Semitism, while early reports, largely from Ashkenazim Jewish writers, tend to portray this discovery as evidence that Ashkenazim Jews are true Hebrew with a legitimate claim to the Holy Land. Further genetic tests and reports demonstrated just the opposite. Two data sets in particular turn this apologetic use of the discovery on its head. The further discovery that the purest surviving remnant of the children of Israel, identified by CMH tests in the tribe of Black Jews in India, the Ben Israel, and the Black Jews of Cochin, who show a genetic affinity not only to Ethiopians and Yemenis, but also to the tribe of Black Jews in the South Africa. And Limba, whose relation of the ancient Hebrews has also been confirmed by the presence of high frequencies of the CMH gene. So that's what Nick Cannon was talking about. Just wanted to put that out in the world. And that's pretty much it. And also, I just want to talk about this here. I just want to talk a little bit about anti-Black racism from individuals in this particular community. This here is a story from 1963. And it was come from the Observer, says the tendencies among Negroes to support bi-black movements and organizations and movements are anti-Semitic. The majority of the businesses in Negro communities, especially throughout the Nathan states, cities, are owned by Jews, and the bi-black movement would tend to boycott these businesses and thus are anti-Semitic. All right. So, and I say that to say this, you know, when communities and groups and people start to restructure their societies, when we start to restructure and change the way we do business and operate, you know, the folks that have been selling us merchandise and the people that have been doing what they've been doing to us, they're going to have to make adjustments. And these people don't enjoy making these type of adjustments. And so, you know, that's pretty much how, that's what I'm putting out there, guys. And, you know, let me know what you think about it. Appreciate you guys for at least checking in for a minute. And I know it was a heavy subject, but I just wanted to put it out there. And this is it.